every student in the room just seemed to point and laugh. She couldn't take it anymore, she sent a boy a text. She said, I love you with my body, heart, and soul to death. He thought nothing, typed I love you, then he sent it. My dad, they didn't know that she had literally just meant to see. She ducked the next class, ran home into a bathroom, thought to herself she wouldn't break a promise that soon. Not one cut, not two cuts, not three cuts, it's four. The blood just started dripping from the top to the floor. See, her boyfriend had a feeling in his stomach that he hated. He followed, he ran down to a house, he never waited. The front door was open, he heard the water running. He stormed into the bathroom and his heart just started gunning. Cause nobody seems to care, you feel you're on your own. So listen, you don't have to be alone. Baby, don't cut, you can do anything, just promise, baby, yeah. I know your heart is hurting, you think the road is in. You make us feel like playing, he's your only friend. Baby, don't cut, baby, don't cut, you can do anything, just promise. He puts her arm around his shoulder, he's trying to lean her back up, yelling out her name as he lays her beside the bathtub. He feels his whole world just took a hit from a big avalanche. About to call an ambulance, feeling mad, angry, like somebody's led her on to this. Her eyeballs are rolling, drifting out of consciousness, thinking to himself, why the hell didn't she stop at will? The tears just keep on rolling as they head to the hospital. Paramedics rush her in, doctor calls emergency. She's lost a lot of blood, the place looks like a murder scene. An hour later, the doc walks over with a sour face and says, excuse me for the words that I'm about to say. I'm sorry for your loss. The boy just starts collapsing. His own world, his own girl just took a crashing, saying to himself that it's his fault and that he let it up. Baby, I thought you made a promise you would never cut. Nobody seems to care, you feel you're on your own. But listen, pretty lady, you don't have to be alone. So baby, don't cut, baby, don't cut. You can do anything, just promise. I know your heart is hurting, you think the road is in. You may just feel like later on you need your only friend. But baby, don't cut, baby, don't cut. You can do anything, just promise, baby, you won't cut. Please don't cut, baby, don't cut, baby, don't cut, baby, don't cut.
Socio has everything you need for virtual, hybrid, and in-person events.
Socio is leading the digital transformation in the event management space.
I told you before, real hotties put other hotties on.
Oh, hey. What's up, hotties? It's your girl, Megan Thee Stallion, aka the Hot Girl Coach. And I know I make this all look so easy, but this didn't happen overnight.
Before I became the Stallion, I was a young girl in Houston just trying to find her way. Growing up, I remember people saying,
Girl, you tall. You need to be playing basketball.
nah, you should be playing volleyball.
With those legs, you need to run track.
And I tried them all, but they just weren't for me. I knew I had to find my passion and do what made me happy.
Loving and fighting, accusing and denying. I can't imagine a world with you gone. The joy and the chaos, the demons were made of. I'd be so lost if you left me alone. You locked yourself in the bathroom, lying on the floor when I break through. I pull you in to feel your heartbeat. Can you hear me screaming, please don't leave me? Hold on, I still want you. Come back, I still need you. Let me take your hand, I'm ready.
have you been smiling? It seems like it's been too long. Some days I don't feel like trying. So what the fuck are you on? Whoa, whoa. I think too much, we drink too much. Falling in love like it's just nothing. I want to know, where do we go when nothing's wrong? 'Cause all the kids are depressed, nothing ever makes sense. I'm not feeling alright, staying up till sunrise and hoping shit is okay, pretending we know things. I don't know what happened, my natural reaction is that we're scared. So I guess we really keep lying, 'cause I've been scared all along. Getting sick of sleeping in. All my friends are popping pills, falling apart like it's just nothing. Now I want to know, where do we go when nothing's wrong? 'Cause all the kids are depressed, nothing ever makes sense. I'm not feeling alright, staying up till sunrise and hoping shit is okay, pretending we know things. I don't know what happened, my reaction is that have you been smiling?
You may not like it, but you better learn how. 'Cause it's your turn now. Now you start. You may not like it, but you better learn how. 'Cause it's your turn now. Now you start.
Pretending we know things. I don't know what happened. My natural reaction is that we're scared. So I guess we're really keep lying, 'cause I've been scared all along. Getting sick of sleeping in. Well, all my friends are
Time's been ticking.
See what scholarships you for. Find your purpose at gcu.edu/myoffer.
Time's been ticking. Hearts are running. Think that Cupid's up to something.
get your grills from?
I got them from Johnny Dang.
You lying?
Yeah.
Where you really get them from?
I got them from my jeweler.
Get your dog's ear infection easy.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm in my own mind. I'm somewhere only you can find me. Somewhere that's truly divine. I'm not a girl, I'm not a guy. I'm my own being. I chose to fly. I chose to fly where I'd be safest. Chose to be somewhere I'm not binary. Different from the primary. And then be chaotic and appreciate fast who I am. Should I make you love me anytime? I'm thirsted to pink or blue. There are so many colors. If I am green, I'm not discolored. I never fully identify with what I was at first. Although it's different for every envy, it doesn't change their worth. There's many envy identities by gender and gender fluid. That's too many. We're just as human as anybody else. So with conclusion, I'm proud to be myself.
Be there yet? Almost. More COVID-19 vaccinations are happening, but it's best for unvaccinated people to wear masks indoors around people they don't live with. And wear them over your nose, not under it. Visit covid.ri.gov/prevention.
There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes. In a happy home, I was a king, I had a golden throne. But those days are gone, now the memories on the wall. I hear the songs from places where I was born. Up on the hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. I still
There was a time I met a guy of a different kind, and we ruled the world. I thought I'd never lose my sight. We were so young, I think of him now and then. I still hear the songs reminding me of a friend. Upon the hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. I still remember how it all changed. My father said, don't you worry, child. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. Yeah. Don't you worry, child. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. Yeah. Don't you worry, child.
One of the things I love doing most is pick.
Good for you, I guess you moved on really easily. Finding a girl and it only took a couple weeks. Remember when you said that you wanted to give me the world? Good for you, I guess that you've been working on yourself. I guess the therapist I found for you should really help. Now you can be a better man for your brand new girl. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy and naughty. You feel like a chance to ask. Good for you, you're doing great, I'll do without me, baby. Gotta wish that I could do that. On the phone, night, just spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. You're so unaffected, I really don't get it. I guess good for you. Good for you, I guess you're getting everything you want. You're put in your car and your career's really taking off. It's like we never even happened, baby. What the fuck is up with that? And good for you, it's like you never even met me. Remember when you swore to God I was the only person who ever got you? Well, screw that, screw you. You will never have to hurt the way you know that I do. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy and naughty. You feel like a chance to ask. Good for you, you're doing great, I'll do without me, baby. Gotta wish that I could do that. On the phone, night, just spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. You're so unaffected, I really don't get it. I guess good for you. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe you never cared at all. Maybe I'm too emotional. Yeah, apathy is like a wounded soul.
turn your passion into
Story time on how I hid my pregnancy for 7 months. So I was with this guy, and we're gonna call him Jaden. He was a senior, and I was a sophomore. We were talking, got into a relationship, and we did the deal. We definitely weren't careful. The summer before I got into my junior year, I got really sick, throwing up every day, and my body just felt weird. So I just felt like maybe I should take a pregnancy test, and I did. It came out pregnant. Then 2 weeks later, I finally gained the courage to finally tell Jaden. And he was so mad and said that he can't ever take care of a child because he's going to college and I had to finish high school. I kind of felt bad because he wasn't a little more sensitive, but he made it seem like it was all my fault that I got pregnant. So he told his older brother about it, and he gave him $500 to give to me to get an abortion. When he gave me the money, I kind of felt irritated that he didn't even want to go with me to get the abortion. So instead, I took the money, bought new clothes, got my hair done, and nails done. And you won't believe what I did to cover this all up. Come back for part 2. Part 2 on how I hid my pregnancy for 7 months. So, like I said, I took the $500 my boyfriend gave me to get the abortion, and instead I bought new clothes, hair, and I got my nails done. After buying all of that, I ghosted my boyfriend for like 2 weeks because I was scared that he'd be upset that I didn't get the abortion. Then randomly I get a knock on my door, and it's my boyfriend. He popped up at my door. He was mad at me, questioning why I haven't been talking to him, and wondering if I was giving my attention to another man. I was like, no, I lost my phone. And he could tell that I was lying. And he was like, you're cheating on me. You're sick. I never want to see you again. So glad you got rid of that thing because I never want to raise a child with you. Afterwards, I felt so bad. I tried to message him, but he blocked me. And eventually, he went off to college. So my plan was to try to hide the fact that I was pregnant. Didn't tell my family or friends. Once I had the baby in private, I probably would just throw it in the trash or throw it away somewhere. I don't know. Running out of time. I'll be back with a part 3. Part 3 on how So Jaden completely left me, and there I was just pregnant. And my plan was to wait till I had the baby and just toss it in the trash somewhere, honestly. And I know this sounds crazy, but at the time I was stressed, very delusional and depressed. I thought if I told him I was pregnant, I would ruin his life. And plus, he'd be mad at me because I didn't get the abortion. And also, I started thinking, like, even if I did want to tell him, I couldn't because he blocked me. So to hide my pregnancy, I would wear baggier clothes. When I was around people, I would sit down. And I didn't want to stand up because I didn't want people to see my stomach protruding out. I wouldn't go out anywhere, and the only time I came out was to get food and go to the bathroom. I wasn't going to the doctors, taking any medication. I was just dealing with whatever pain the pregnancy was putting me through. Also, during this time, Jaden got a new girlfriend and was posting her. And I was so sad because I was here alone, holding a baby that he didn't want. At times, I felt the S word. Part 4 will be up next. Part 4 on how I hid my pregnancy for 7 months. So the day comes and I start getting contractions harder each day. And not to mention, I was still in school. Anyways, the day comes and it gets really bad, and I told my mom I felt really sick and I needed to stay home. And randomly, she's like, no, I'm taking you to the doctors. I'm like, no, I'm not that sick. I just need to stay in bed. And she had said something that really dropped my heart. She said, I know you're pregnant and I don't understand why you hid it for so long. I was just waiting for you to just tell me on your own. Why didn't you just tell me? And from there, I just broke down in tears. Not because of just a horrible contraction, but because I hid it for this long for her to find out my last couple days. So the hospital asked me who the dad was and what do I plan to do with the baby. I then told her that I just wanted to throw it away and get rid of it, and she just cried because she couldn't understand why. So we get to the gynecologist, they take me in, I stay in for a week, and by then I had my little girl. She was premature. Finally looking at her face,
I'm putting my extremely profoundly sorry. You would do if you were in my situation. husband passed away 3 years ago in a work accident. A very large portion of me believe it was a suicide. I can't see him ever making the mistake he made that caused his death, and he had taken an action just before that which ensured his coworkers weren't in the room. I fully believe he killed himself because of our younger son, and no one will ever change my mind. We were told when I was pregnant that he would have Down syndrome. We could handle that, even if it was severe. It turned out he has a chromosome deletion. His disorder is kind of rare, so I won't post which specific one, but suffice to say he'll never be anything more than he is now or has ever been. And what he is nothing. He doesn't appear to have any awareness and never has. His eyes are locked in one position. He doesn't respond to noise, touch, or pain. He is total care. He is capable of nothing. He is tube-fed and on oxygen. He is in diapers and will be forever. He makes no sounds, no attempts to communicate. He never even really cried as a baby. He has never made an attempt to interact with anyone or his environment. I'm not upset because I got a special needs and imperfect child. I feel the way I feel because this thing takes up 200% of my time and does nothing. I didn't get an imperfect child. I didn't get a child. I don't love him. He doesn't have any personality. There is nothing to love. And yet I'm responsible for him. In addition to his extreme delays, he's also medically fragile. Respiratory crises, fecal impactions, his autonomic nervous system doesn't function properly, issues with his G-tube, infections, pressure sores no matter what we put him on or how we position him. Our older son has suffered because his non-existent brother has colored everything in his life. His medical care gets delayed because there's only one of me and his brother is more critical. We do have a visiting home nurse, but only 20 hours a week, and we aren't eligible for more. I was starting law school. I gave up my dreams and my plan for my children for this potato. My older son can't do a lot of things he wants to do because of the younger's need for care and appointments. The final straw was I heard a sound. I went into younger son's room to check, thinking he had forgotten how to breathe again, and saw older son hitting him and screaming, "You're why I don't have a mother. You're why I don't have a father. You're why I can't have friends over. You're why I can't be in sports. I didn't ask for you and I hope you die." Instead of being horrified, I watched. And younger son just did not react. No signs of pain or fear or upset. No reaction at all. He breathes, but he is not alive. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who older son is. He has no sense of self, life experience, or awareness of his surroundings. He doesn't need to be in my home. He doesn't know or care where he is. He is genetically my son, but he is not family. My previously abused, brain-damaged cat who can't walk straight has more personality and is far more lovable than my child. In fact, I was looking forward to raising a Down's baby, even one with severe impairments, for that reason. With disability can come gifts. This boy is not a gift. He is a genetic mistake. I probably should have miscarried and would have definitely terminated if I'd known he would be like this. And the flip side is, if he has awareness, he's miserable, and there is nothing I can do. If he has likes and dislikes, no one knows what they are. If he is in pain, he can't tell anyone. If he wants anything, he can't communicate. He's had every imaginable therapy, nothing has made a difference. And so he's leaving our home on the 29th. I feel excited and relieved and then guilty because I know we'll be happier with him gone. He's already taken my husband and my son's father. He was working so much to pay for the cucumbers care, for the experimental therapies insurance wouldn't cover. Because this one was going to be the breakthrough. He was tired and defeated and disappointed. He sought counseling as well, but I don't think he could ever say the words "I don't want my son in my home" either. He's ruined my older son. I was so wrapped up on the younger I never realized how ignored and damaged he was. He lost his father too. I didn't just lose my husband. He is my priority now, and this malignant lump can be someone else's problem. At least they'll be paid a wage to care for him. At least they'll get a break from him when they punch out. I just want to never think of him again, and I'm not sorry. And for that, I'm sorry. Thanks for listening.
Story of the time that we got caught sipping at Christian camp. So every other year during winter break, my parents made me go to this Christian camp. I quickly made friends with these 3 girls and 2 guys. The older we got, the more boring obviously it became, but we were all forced to go. So I'm pretty sure this was when I was maybe 16 or 17, and this year my friend was 22. So she had brought us a clear one and a dark one, and she brought them in water bottles. So we started exploring the entire camp. It was a pretty big camp. And we ended up finding this basement that had a pool table, a mini fridge, a TV. It was actually pretty cool. It was kind of like meant to be, you know what I mean? We're like, wow, we found this really cool chill spot. So the day we decided to sip was actually the last night of the camp. And my friend, who was 22, her parents ended up coming that last day because there was also meetings for adults. So anyway, we're all getting ready in her room, and she told her parents, don't go in my suitcase because it's really messy and I don't want you guys to judge me. That would be not suspicious, but obviously it made her parents suspicious. And that same day, we had this really in-depth like Bible study thing talking about how Jesus turned water into wine, and then another meeting about doing the right thing because God sees all. So anyway, the night comes and we all meet in that basement.
It was muted. Are you flying because of how short you are? Yep. Get out of the rain. Get out of the rain, fucker. God, I wish there was a way to push control. I'll try something. Yeah. Nope. Alright, again. Hold still. Take it off. Here, we're gonna go to a different place. See if this place makes you happier. I personally go in here.
Before we started sipping, we decided to all pray that we didn't get caught. I'm talking bowing our heads, closing our eyes. Then after that sip, we looked at each other with confusion.
Story time about how I exposed my abusive, toxic boyfriend. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. I was sent to me on Instagram. My boyfriend is and has always been very charming. He has a ton of friends and everyone loves him. He's a very good-looking guy and girls are always chasing him. I met him 2 years ago at a party. I had heard a bunch of stuff about him. I heard that he was a player and that he cheated on all of his girlfriends. So when he came up to me at the party, I was really cold. I basically told him I didn't want to talk to him and that I would never give him my number. And unfortunately, this made him try even harder. He could never take no for an answer. He spent an hour trying to convince me to go to have breakfast with him the next day. He was so charming and so good looking. Of course, I eventually said yes. Even a few of his guy friends at the party told me not to go. But of course, I ended up going with him to breakfast the next day. We hung out a few times and then he told me that he liked that I wasn't easy. He told me that I was different from other girls and he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes because I was starting to catch feelings. One night we went out with his friends and he started calling me stupid in front of them. Part 2 is up. Part 2 of how I exposed my abusive, toxic boyfriend. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. I was sent to me on Instagram. So we went out with his friends one night and he started calling me stupid in front of them. He had never done this before and I was really surprised. I thought maybe he was just doing it to impress his guy friends. That's when I asked him straight up in front of his friends why he kept calling me stupid. One of his friends steps up and says, yeah, why do you keep calling her stupid? He stayed quiet for a second and didn't know what to say. Then he just laughed it off and said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was doing that. That's when his friends started asking me questions about myself. I told him I was studying to be an engineer and that I had graduated with top honors. Well, let's just say they were all super impressed. We finally got into his car and he was driving me home. I was upset at him, so I decided not to give him a kiss goodnight. I started getting out of the car and he grabbed my wrist really hard. He pulled me back into the car and forcefully kissed me. He said that I embarrassed him in front of his friends, but that he'd give me a pass for it. I was actually in shock. A few weeks later, we were at the mall and he pulled my hair because he said I was looking at some guy. I tried to get up and leave and he wouldn't let me. Part 3 is up. Part 3 of how I exposed my abusive, toxic boyfriend. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. So at the mall, he pulled my hair back because he thought I was looking at a guy. Then I tried to get up from the table, but he wouldn't let me. That's when he said he was going to have to control me more from now on, because clearly I was trying to look for other guys. Then he dropped me off at my dorm room and insisted on coming up. I told him I didn't want him to and that we should reconsider the relationship. I told him he needed to cool off and reconsider how he treated me. That's when he started to cry instantly. He started apologizing and told me that I was right. Then he told me that he loved me. We hadn't used that word before. I didn't realize at the time that he was totally manipulating me. And unfortunately, I decided to give him another chance. A few days later, he asked me why I didn't tell him I loved him back.
Oh, fuck.
I told him I just wasn't sure. Then he started yelling at me, telling me that there were so many girls ready for him to be single, and that he had a girl text him every single night, but he would say no just because of me. So I told him I loved him. After that, he was a lot nicer, until one night he slapped me. Part 4 is up. Part 4 of how I exposed my abusive, toxic boyfriend. Disclaimer is not my story time. I sent me on Instagram. One night he took me out to dinner and started asking me all these weird questions. He wanted to know about my last ex and why we broke up, and when I didn't give him enough information, he got really angry. When we got in his car, he slapped me and told me that I was a liar. After that, he just got worse. He would randomly just push me up against the wall if I annoyed him. He would constantly take my cell phone and start checking it. He even made me give him the password to my email. I decided that I was going to start recording all the abuse. I started recording all of our conversations and even set up a camera in my room. And of course, I had all this proof. One day I finally told him I didn't want to be with him anymore and he threatened me. I also told him that I was going to go to the police. Then he told me I would never be able to leave him and that no one would believe me because he never left bruises. That's when he started stalking me. He would also show up in my apartment and try to force his way in. He would grab me and try to kiss me and I would just push him away. So I finally went to the police. And I also went to the head of the school. I finally got a restraining order and the school expelled him. If you've experienced any of this, please get out of your relationship. Don't make my mistake. Story time about when my mom caught me doing it with my best friend. I was 16 at the time, and there was this new boy that moved in across the street from us. He was super cute, and I noticed him right away. My parents were super strict. I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend or even any guy friends, and I knew right away that I wanted to at least become this guy's friend because he was so cute. So one day I told my mom, hey, why don't we take cookies or something to welcome the new
I'm
neighbors
not.
to his
I
house?
sleep in
And my
the
mom was
dirt
like,
by
"That's a great
myself
idea."
with my door
So we end up
shut.
going over and we meet them. They're really nice.
sleep in
And
the
this new
closet.
boy comes
No, I have it
downstairs
like bad.
and he tells his mom he's going to go to Bible study.
And I
Well,
have
after we
and
get
I
home, I tell my mom, hey, you know what? Maybe I should.
leave my foot over the side of the bed too. And I leave my closet open. What?
Oh, look who's being a big girl. You leave your closet open. That's cute. I'm so proud. Now I gotta go find Papa's
Bible
Smurf.
study group too. And my mom was like, great idea. She even told me to go ask him about it since he had mentioned it. One day he's mowing the lawn, so I decided to go talk to him and ask him about the Bible study group. He actually ended up taking me there that same day and we had a fun class. Over the next few weeks, we became really, really good friends. Best friends. We told each other everything. But there was always attraction between. Part 2. So my neighbor, I'll call him Curtis, we're really good friends at this point, but we were always attracted to each other, but because we weren't in Bible study together and our parents were very religious, we kind of tried to stay away from anything. One day, we're in my house chilling in my room because I knew my mom wouldn't be home for a while, so I told him to just come upstairs. We ended up eating Pop-Tarts and watching a Netflix show. The whole time I was mustering the courage to tell him that I really liked him because I really felt that I wanted to be honest with him instead of just lying to him, and the whole reason why I even got into the Bible study group was to be with him, or at least spend time with him. So finally, I just blurted it out. I said, I like you, and I like you, like, a lot. He just stares at me blankly, he doesn't know what to say, and I could tell that he was kind of nervous. So I said, do you like me too? He said, yes, you know that I do. And then we started making out. This was the first time I'd ever been kissed, and it was the first time I'd ever had a boy in my room by myself. I kept thinking my mom could come home at any moment, so I told him that he should go home. Suddenly we're on my bed and we're doing things that I'd never done before. Suddenly my door swings open, and guess who it is? My mom. Part 3. So my mom swings the door open and she sees us on my bed doing stuff. Of course I'm mortified, I'm super embarrassed, and I'm also embarrassed because I know how she's going to react in front of him. My mom, of course, just starts yelling her head off. Then we walk over to his house. She proceeds to tell his mom what we did, and then 5 minutes later, my dad walks into their house. I was really afraid of my dad. So now we're in their kitchen, and his parents and my parents are just staring us down and telling us that what we did was completely wrong. Then my dad starts saying that we need to get married. I can tell Curtis is freaking out. Of course, I'm freaking out too. His parents actually agree that we should get married. Thankfully, my mom was completely against it, and she said absolutely not. They're too young. I literally felt like I was dying. I was obviously grounded for months. Couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything. And I obviously didn't speak to Curtis again. Then my mom tells me that Curtis and his family actually moved away. My heart was completely broken. A few years later in college, I contacted him through Facebook. We met up, and we've been together ever since. I knew that our connection back then was super strong, and it is now.
Story time about how he cheated on his baby mama with me. So a little background information. There was this boy, and we're going to call him John. John and I knew each other through one of our mutual friends. Well, 24/7, John would post sad quotes on his Snapchat story.
What? What's up, Papa Smurf? Fuck. Papa Smurf, what are you doing? Hey. Don't you dare fucking jump off, Pikachu. No. Pikachu, no. You little shit. Fuck. Pikachu, can you chill? Pikachu, get out the fire. No. Fire does not help you get taller. Get out the fire. Get out. Get off the fire. Get the fuck off the fire. You don't literally smell like a fucking campfire cologne, and it literally smells like one of my hoodies. Now, get the fuck off. Why did you make that noise?
That's what my hoodies smell like.
I told you what my hoodie smells like, and that's what that's gonna make you smell like if you don't get out. Maybe burnt black smoke, and unless you want to turn crispy black, I'm sorry. And why you made an odd noise when I told you what my hoodie smelled like. It literally smelled like that because I went to a campfire party. And you're not getting it, so don't ask. Now get off the fire. Get the fuck off the fire.
And if I don't?
You're gonna have a burnt crispy coochie. And it's gonna look like a fucking burnt s'mores. You ever seen a burnt s'more graham cracker? It comes in the light. Think that's not weird? Yeah, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look very... So get your little ass out of the fire. Now,
I have a big ass, thank you.
What?
I have a big ass, thank you.
I didn't say your ass, I said your pussy, now shoot. Unless you're trying to burn off the Amazon jungle. That's not how that works.
But... Stop calling me out! Shit!
Pumpkin pie, you can make pumpkin pie over there, so I'm not making it for you. You make it yourself. Now stop letting your fucking ass on fire, plus your other parts. It's not gonna help those fucking little tits grow. Good girl, you did it, and I'm gonna give you a head pat. Happy? I didn't say be a little 3-year-old crackhead on cocaine with sugar powers. I'm gonna buy this child a baby stroller. Fuck you doing? This reminds me of Louisiana swamp sound, Jesus.